Hello friends, and welcome to the channel. I'm Handington, and today we're going to play the worst game I have ever played in my life. It's actually really awkward to record this with a tripod. I thought it would be easier, but it is not, somehow. This game was one of the first GameCube games that I had ever gotten. It was a gift from my grandmother, who we called Nana. It's a very complicated situation. I didn't beat it when I was little. I beat it only a few years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Not when I had first gotten the GameCube. It is this game, Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. Now, on the cover, on the surface, this does not look like it would be a bad game. The box itself deserves its own review. I'm going to spare you the review in this episode, and instead I will just save that for a separate other episode. It is awful, and not enough people talk about this game and how terrible it is. It seems to be like a forgotten, terrible gem. Bomb. There we go. Had to wait through that. So I want to show you the startup screen and everything. This is going to be quite a ride. I'm a little bit nervous, actually, because I know what's going to be happening in the first level. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, published by THQ, made by Big Sky. THQ, brah. Alternatively, there are other better Jimmy Neutron games. I feel weirdly nostalgic of this, though. Big Sky, you're the main thing to blame on this. There is such an interesting backstory behind the creation of this game. I will tell you in a minute. So this is not the game. This is using footage from the Jimmy Neutron movie, and uses portions of the game. So this is like a little trailer before the game starts. I imagine that's what they had used to show Nickelodeon their development. I don't know if this will get copyright claimed for the movie bits in here. I don't know. I honestly don't care. You need to see this. There's barely any footage of it out there. And also, that guy looked like Crazy Frog for a second there. You may have played the SpongeBob SquarePants game, like the movie and Battle for Bikini Bottom, and you would have noticed that, oh, interestingly, the clips that they use at the beginning don't seem to look like the actual game. That's because it was in its beta, or alpha or beta stages of the game, and things had changed. This, however, looks exactly like the real game. In those little things that cut into it, oh, well, I think they slightly textured a little bit more, so that the actual game does look a bit better than that. But yeah, they just didn't add any color in those. I just realized some of them don't even have any of their final game textures. They rushed it to be finished soon, and they had such high hopes for it. I mean, they really wanted it to be a fantastic game, and it seemed like they were going to be able to do that, but they failed. Also, they're using the extended Jimmy Neutron theme song. I'm not going to have you hear it at the moment, but, you know, you can hear it on your own time, I guess. I actually really liked just the menus and starting off this game. That I am nostalgic of, because when we tested out the game to make sure that it worked, I had played that, and when I would just try and play the game, I just loved running around in the menus. Because this game has one of the best menus for a game that I've seen. There's the loading bar and everything. I'm gonna try and cut down the glare of the blinds. And we're just in the game. It's too bright outside. I'm not gonna be able to show you the game. I will wait until it's later tonight to film this so that you can see it in all of its terrible glory. Instead, I will use this time to tell you the backstory of this game. So, Blue Sky Interactive. Oh, and first off, the music in this game isn't exactly the best. It's okay. It's fitting, but it's not really memorable. So, don't worry, Jimmy. We'll get to playing you soon enough. So you'll notice that this menu seems finished, and the first level of this game, once we play it, that will also seem like it's a full finished tutorial level. Like, it's actually pretty decent. He has idle animations, this seems pretty interesting. This is actually the menu screen. You start off playing the game as the menu, which I think is fantastic. Again, I will show you this. I'll show you now. So, you start off and you actually get to move around, and each of these different rooms are the menu options. And I think that's genius. Boy, genius. Haha. They're originally a French company, I believe, and they split apart. So they had an American division and a French division, and they didn't sell too well. They did not sell very well. Considering the quality of their games, you can kind of see why. Part of this backstory I learned was from a Did You Know Gaming episode.
One SpongeBob SquarePants game was so flawed that it may have led to the closure of the studio that created it. SpongeBob SquarePants Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, developed by Big Sky Interactive, had generally poor reviews all around. The poor quality and bugs may have been due to internal problems the studio faced during development. Big Sky Interactive was originally the American branch of a French company called Callisto Entertainment. While the studio was in the middle of creating another game based on a Nickelodeon franchise, Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, their French parent company filed for bankruptcy. Having all the resources available to continue the operation on their own, the American branch split and became Big Sky Interactive. Many members of Big Sky were huge fans of SpongeBob, and the studio needed work, so they created a demo using the code from Jimmy Neutron.
They just finished this up as fast as they could, just to get it done, and then they worked on SpongeBob Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. So, you may have heard of this game, some of you may have played it as a kid. It was, unfortunately, Blue Sky are not very talented developers. It's sad to say, they just aren't that good. They have passion. They do have a passion for what they do. They have a passion for fashion, but they don't actually have that much skill, and the game was extremely buggy and didn't sell all that well. It wasn't well received, or it wasn't too well received. And Nickelodeon said, okay, we can no longer work with you. And then they were able to publish the Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, but that was it. The studio could no longer do anything else on that. And the studio fell under, and then just was lost to obscurity and disappeared. This led Nickelodeon to work with a different company, Heavy Iron Studios. They were a fantastic company, and they made incredible games. So, thanks to the failure of this and the Flying Dutchman game, we got some of the best games on the whole of the GameCube, which is amazing. And this game, which barely anybody ever talks about, was abandoned to essentially cause the folly of another company, which then led Nickelodeon to making a much better SpongeBob game. I think it gave Heavy Iron Studios some more time to work on a SpongeBob game as a demo to show them. Whereas if they rushed, they may have picked someone else, and then Battle for Bikini Bottom may not have been as great of a game as it was. So, we have this game to kind of thank and also not thank for that. It's fascinating. It really is. And you can absolutely see where they gave up. Like, the exact point that they stopped caring. They put so much work in preparing the game at first, so they have mini-games set up before they finish the main game to be any good. They barely even play-tested it. It's an absolute mess. The box makes the game seem like it's gonna be a super awesome adventure. That'll be a whole story. Please stick with this series. I know this is the first episode, it's gonna be boring. But this game needs Preface. Before we play it, I needed to tell you this whole story so that you could appreciate this travesty and all its amazement. I am going to see how many of you will join in the next episode, how many of you are dedicated to the cause of this awful game, and we will rejoin in episode 2, which I guess will be episode 1, since this is going on for far long enough. So, thank you, friends. I'm actually kind of stalling for time because I'm a little scared of the first level, legitimately. I'm building up the hype of this game. It will not disappoint you in its awfulness. We'll begin this adventure not at the very beginning. It's a good place to start, but we're not starting there, we're starting later. So I believe it's that time again, friends. It's the Handington way to waste time and not do anything. If you like what I do, though, don't be shy to give a thumbs up. Have a pleasant day, everyone. And this is Handington, signing off. There we go. It's harder with my left hand. Bye!